was a good win. We started off slow defensively. Certainly had some mental errors there that they had a good game plan coming in, but we had some mental errors, some gap problems in the run, and then turned the tight end loose a couple times. We got it fixed after he got open one more time on us. We got it fixed and then played pretty good defense the rest of the day. Offensively, we threw 7 touchdown passes, I think. Talon did a good job of avoiding pressures. Some of them were simple twist games that we had pressure on. Some of them where they brought one more than we could protect in our protection, who was hot. We've got to get better there. But I was proud that we were able to throw the ball to a lot of different people, get them involved. I think that's going to help us in the future with those guys getting some confidence. A lot of different kids scored touchdowns. I was glad to see all of them. I was happy to see C.J. Brown score a couple touchdowns after his hardship that he's gone through. So that was really cool to see there. It was great to see Starsick come in and kick a 53-yard field goal on his first kick as a Razorback, and I thought our special teams played well. And so I'll answer any questions you have.
Yeah, Coach, just your overall assessment of what Talon was able to do. Had to do some things with his legs also today.
Yeah, I mean, one, we were turnover free. That's big. So he took care of the football. He was smart throwing and running. Once he got out, understood where first downs were, whether he needed to throw or he could run to get it. I thought he had good command over the huddle and over the offense all day, and he distributed the ball to several different people. So came out, I think, healthy, and so I was really pleased with his game, and we just got to protect him. We got to continue to work. We knew they were going to blitz the heck out of us, and they did, but we've got to get better protecting him as well.
Just the second team offense scored on the first team defense on the first drive both times, and then they shut them down. And then you kind of had a similar deal here. Is that a worry that it maybe takes them a little bit to get warmed up or something?
Well, it's one game. I was more concerned about the missed assignments. That we were having. That wasn't necessarily the case in the scrimmages, you know what I mean? So I think if we don't miss the assignments, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape, but we did. And so therefore we got in trouble on that. First drive was nasty. It was terrible. And but after that, for the most part, they came back. But we'll address that and go exactly why they went down the field and scored on us. But in my mind right now, it's about mental errors.
When the defense did kind of lock in after that first drive, what did you see from them specifically, maybe on the back end where you got some new guys at corner? I mean, were you pleased with maybe how the secondary performed today?
Yeah, yes. After the first drive, I wasn't. I mean, I don't think anybody was. But after the first drive, I think that we changed up our coverages some, and I think we covered them tighter. There was some non-contested balls early, and then after that, I think almost every ball that was thrown was a contested ball, and I do think the guys who came up and were physical back there as well. So a lot of new guys back there, so hopefully that's out of the system, and that we're rolling.
You mentioned the different targets for Talon, going to a bunch of different receivers. Is that something you are wanting to see from him, or do you want that to come naturally? Like, how much you talk about trying to spread it around right now?
Well, Bobby would be the one that could answer that more than me, to be perfectly honest with you. But he has his first read, his second read, his third read, depending on, and Bobby has his reasoning for calling a play, whether it be because what he can see, what he knows is going to come open, or he wants to specifically target a guy. So, but I was just happy that a bunch of guys got involved, and I'm sure it does make them want to practice more and more and harder and know they're going to get the football.
But you thought of O-line play and the run game in particular?
Yeah, we talked about it at halftime. I think we had about 100 yards or something like that rushing at half, maybe 90 something. It was right at 100. And we talked about wanting to be able to run the ball more. Again, I've spoke on our protection. I think we got to get better, especially on the games, twist games. But I think, I don't know what we ended up rushing the ball, but the bottom line is when you're playing a zero team, you want to try to run the football, but a lot of times you'll run into numbers. You know, you're trying to run away from the blitz, but they double-edged us quite a little bit tonight. And so you throw it if that's the case. You know, it's a little bit different. You know, I remember Western Kentucky 2 years ago, and or West Carolina, excuse me, and we scored a bunch of points, but we could not run it. You know, it's a different deal to me tonight. I'm not worried about us being able to run the ball.
One of the things Bobby Petrino mentioned to us was yards after catch had to be more, and it looked like you got a lot of yards after catch today. Can you talk on that?
Yeah, we really did, and you know, I think Blake was really good at. C.J. Brown, you know, did a good job breaking a tackle on his first touchdown, and Monte Harrison did a really good job. But I think from when you're talking about what Bobby said, I think that's one of the things we did really well was yard after catch.
In particular, you mentioned with the yards after catch. I know he came in with the big numbers from last season, but is that about what you expected from him? And do you think he can kind of sustain that as you get more to the heart of your schedule?
I don't know. I mean, 7 balls for what did he end up having? 7 balls for 121. I don't know if you can sustain that. You know, I'd like for him to.
Yards after catch in particular.
Yeah, I mean, he played extremely hard. We went in there and got us a first down when it looked like he could have been short. You know, Talon did too. You know, jumped over there and made a first down. But Omega's a tough guy. You know, and he likes to play football. And so, did I want him to do that? Yes. Did I know he could do that? Yes. So if that's the case, yes, we'll expect it every week.
With CJ, just what does it say about him that he's been able to persevere with, you know, like you said, the hardship that he's been going through, and how have you guys kind of helped him with that?
Well, you probably, I mean, I hate to divert questions, but you probably ought to ask him about the help, you know. But he has a strong faith, and his family is such great people. They helped him through all this, and hopefully we did too. We sure did try. And he told me, he said, that was for my daddy on the first one, and then I went and grabbed him on the second, and he said that one was too, you know. So, man, it was a great moment, yeah.
Did you kind of have a target score in mind where if you were up by so much that would allow you to put KJ in?
No.
His limited time, you know, he had that touchdown pass to Washington. Just what'd you think of him?
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. I mean, I think his first drive in there, we went down and scored, you know, and then the second one, I don't know, I can't remember what happened. I think we ended up having a couple of incompletions on it, didn't run it well on first down. But yeah, I thought he played well. I mean, first drive of the year, he takes us down there and scores and throws a touchdown pass.
He and also Talon Green weren't afraid to take a hit. I guess, are you wanting them to be a little bit more conservative, or just kind of cut them?
I want them to play football.
Sam, Mike Washington in that third quarter drive, getting outside on the left end, 30-yard run, then the 27-yard catch and run on the sideline. He was explosive in the scrimmages. Is he going to have a bigger workload moving forward? You had a balanced attack today.
We've got 3 good backs, you know, so we think Mike's number 1 in that rotation. We didn't get him in early in the second half. Played Rodney and played Braylon, and of course we're scoring, you know. We got him in there that last drive when we put KJ in there, but No, I mean, I think if there was a ton of difference between 1, 2, and 3, we would probably want him to have more carries. But we just want him to be fresh and have success when he's in there. But we probably would have played him normally more in the third quarter than what we did today.
On the field goal, I know that's been a point of emphasis. You guys were at a 43-yard field goal coming up. Talon takes a 10-yard sack. What happened there? And then talk about Starzyk nail. I mean, he right down the middle with room to spare.
We can't take a sack there. I mean, you know, we're in easy. Well, I don't know if there's ever easy, but we're in great shape to kick a field goal at that point. And Taylor knows that, and obviously you have to protect better. But he got to get rid of that ball. We can't take a sack there. But once I saw where it was on the 35, and you know, in our meeting before the game, you know, Scott takes him out there to kick, and he said 36 both ways. So I'm not the brightest guy, but 35 is less than 36. So right when I saw it, I said, okay, field goal, and we nailed it. You know, so we can't take a sack there. We've got to get rid of the football. We've got to protect it better as well. And but when I found out I was on 35, that was a no-brainer for me because I got a lot of confidence in him.
Was Justice, did he play?
Justice Boone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He listed him as a
start
starter.
for us, yeah, but he played quite a bit, yeah.
Week of still trying to finalize who was going to start for you?
Yeah, well, Charlie had a really good week, you know, so we got to reward the guys that practice well, and Charlie had a really good week, and so we knew that we were going to rotate those guys, but we felt like Charlie had earned the right to start for us.
Defensive side of the ball, a lot of emphasis on sacks and turnovers in camp. Just how good did it feel to maybe get one of each in the second half, and specifically for Quincy?
It did, and it changes the game because I believe one of them, I don't know if it was a sack or just jailbreak, you know, where we went in there and got the fumble as well. But we've got to continue to do more of that. Well, no, that's not true. The first sack was we had a third down package guys on there, which worked. You know, because Sorey was at defensive end, but yeah, it's nice to get one apiece. We need to get more.
You got 3 different venues coming up in the next 3 weeks, starting in Little Rock with Arkansas State. Just your thoughts on maybe how you think this game prepared you guys to move forward here.
Well, I think it would build some confidence in a lot of kids, and you know, just like the first thing I talked to Sorey, I said, hey, man, you played a good game. He said, I got a lot of work to do. So I think we've got a whole lot of kids in there that think we've got to get better here, you know, this next week. And playing Arkansas State, no disrespect to Alabama A&M at all, but it's easier to get up, you know, it's a state, you know, game. It's not a rivalry. We've never played it. But I think it'll be easier for our guys to have a really good practice. We can coach them hard and all that. And I expect these next 3 weeks, and if you look at it, it's A-State, it's Ole Miss, and Memphis on the road. I think they all have different motivational things to them, and I'm sure that we'll be ready to play.
I saw something today I'd never seen. It was that kickoff at the end of the half. I know you're trying to worm burn it way down there, but have you ever seen anything like that? And he probably didn't even know he couldn't advance it. I mean, do you practice that?
We don't practice hitting him, you know, but when I was in the Rose Bowl, we were just trying to squib it down. We'd just scored, and we were trying to squib it down there right before half and hit one of their guys. And then we had more time than 4 seconds, but it was maybe 11. And we threw a little out route, and the kicker at Georgia went in and made the field goal right before the half, and we ended up winning in overtime. So I'm sure it mattered, but that's the only other time I've been involved in where it hit the front line guy.
Coach, touching back on Talon's performance, he came in and put up seemingly video game numbers with what many consider to be an unproven receiver core. What can you say about how the receivers performed today?
Yeah, to be honest with you, they kind of performed like they have in practice, you know, especially the last 2 to 3 weeks. They've really been picking balls out of the air. And you don't really know the yak yards and the run after catch in practice because, you know, you're not tackling them. So it was fun to see that part of it. But, you know, Talon, you know, he never gets credit for much of anything, so thank you for saying that. But I think the wideouts were very, very pleasing on what they did, and I think they're tough, and that really makes me fired up.
When we spoke to you earlier this week, it's an opportunity to see maybe guys that are better in a game maybe than practice. And Shakur, like physical in the run game. Is he a guy like that? And how impressed are you with his performance today?
Well, I mean, he came up, several times. A really good tackler out there. I think, you know, you look at Omega Blake is one of those guys as well. You know, Caleb Wooden, I saw him make some good things happen tonight. So, yeah, and then once I watch the tape, maybe Monday I'll have even a better answer for you. But Small stood out, like you said, because he was, you know, coming up there and laying it to him, you know, pretty good.
Coach, appreciate you.
All right, guys, appreciate it.
On how things went today against Alabama A&M.
I feel like we got a low start. You know, it could have been a better start. It kind of took for us to get punched in the mouth on that first drive to realize and wake up and see what was going on. But after that, you know, we had a talk with each other, had a talk with our coaches, and, you know, we came out and dominated the rest of the game.
I'll say the same thing. Like, had a slow start, and, you know, that first drive kind of was a tough drive for us. You know, we were kind of slow out there, and, you know, after that drive, I think we kind of started clicking together as a defense, and, yeah, that's really it.
Were they running stuff you were ready for, or what do you think played into that first drive?
Nah, I would say just lack of attention, like from us as a defense, lack of attention, and you know what I mean. Maybe we was like too amped up and stuff, and we went out there and, you know, he's got to chill and just know it's football. We know it's the first game of the season, but it's still football, and, you know, we just got to do our job, and that's it.
Yeah, it was nothing that they was doing that we haven't seen or haven't prepared for. You know, our coaches did an amazing job getting us ready for this game, and, you know, their whole offensive staff came from Miles College, so we were studying Miles film when they was there. We were studying personnel, Alabama A&M wise, the current players that was still there. So it was just all us, you know. It was just all accountability when it comes to the Arkansas defense.
Sam was just in here and mentioned maybe there's some missed assignments on that first drive. Is that something you guys like know right when the play's over? Do you have to get filled in when you get to the sideline? Just like walk me through maybe that process of kind of recognizing the mistakes there on the first drive.
I got you. So yeah, I think. What was your question again? You say is it
when a missed assignment happens? Do you know like right when the play's over, or is that something you have to go to the sideline and maybe Coach T. Will or position coach kind of points that out?
Yeah. So sometimes, right when the play happens, like, you know, you messed up, and then sometimes you don't. Sometimes you may think you did the right thing until you get to the sideline, and we have iPads now, so we can watch the previous plays right there on the field, and that's when you see, oh, man, I messed up, or I was out of my gap or something. So I think it's kind of work hand in hand, at least with our position. I know sometimes we think we're right and we're wrong, and sometimes we think we're wrong and we're right. So, yes, sir.
Cam, it seemed like the defensive line got a lot better as the game wore on, getting into the backfield and stuff. What were your thoughts overall on that unit's performance? What can you guys maybe get better at going to week 2 with Arkansas State?
We did good overall. We had a slow start, you know, from a defensive line standpoint, with a lot of missed assignments and, you know, leaving open field tackles open. But, you know, all it takes is for Coach Adams to talk to us on the sideline the way that he talks to us. And, you know, we woke up and we realized that the defensive hold starts with us. And we have to be that anchor, because the back end with the linebackers and the defensive backs, they depend on us. So we had to wake up, you know, and get everything going.
And for you first, Sam was in here saying that you had a little bit of treatment done recently. I guess first, how are you feeling?
No, I feel good. Yes, sir, I feel good.
Coach is also in here saying that some players are aware that there's some improvements to be made for next week. From your perspective, defensively, what are those?
Like I said, we started out like low attention and things like that. So I'll say, like, this next week we got to open up the game hot and focused, and you know what I mean, those type things. And like it's some games where like that one drive it can be a game changer. So we can't have no bad drives, whether it's the first drive of the game or the last drive of the game. We gotta go out there and have great drives. And as a defense, that's what we're looking to achieve.
And Camp for USA, you have your dad on your chest. I mean, what did it mean emotionally for you to have him on your back as well?
I've been crying since this morning, seeing my mom and my dad standing, not standing right next to her, it kind of got to me. And as soon as I got on the field, I put my stuff down in the locker room and I just broke down. I lost it, man. And my dad said he used to send me all these little videos and stuff, so I was watching that before we went out for the captain's little coin toss, and I lost it again. But I know he was with me, and he still is. He probably somewhere in his room right now, just smiling at me. So it was kind of rough, man, but I know he's still with me through it all.
Any comforting talks maybe with CJ? Is just something that it's relatable as teammate to teammate?
Yeah, man, when CJ's father had first passed, it was just so crazy because I'm trying to give him words of encouragement, and my father had passed probably like 2 months before him, and it was, as I was texting, I was just like, wow, man, like never knew I had to comfort somebody else in this situation, because I knew how he felt, and I told him, like, if you don't want to talk to me, that's okay. If you want to talk to me, that's okay, because I was in your same position, and I still am. And when he made those plays out there today, man, I just went up to him, gave him a hug, and I talked to him in the locker room a minute ago, and the first thing he said was that was for Pops, and I was like, I already know, bro. So
for both you and Cam first, it was a disappointing start, but the last 2.5 quarters, what are you most proud of what you did defensively?
Of how we had multiple 3-and-outs and how we bowled up, and we took the play calling, and we just came out and we finished the game how we were supposed to. How we finished the game how we started it. So all we have to do is do a lot of self-evaluating. The 24-hour rule is how we deal with things. So we're gonna enjoy this win, because no matter who the team is, Coach Pitt just told us, man, a win is hard to get in college football. So we're gonna enjoy this win, and tomorrow, man, do a lot of self-evaluating, and leave our feelings at the door when it comes to film, and prepare for Arkansas State.
Yes, sir. So I think one of the biggest things was that the second half, like, we kept them out of the end zone. They scored that first half, first quarter, and that's one of the biggest things that I'm proud of our defense for, just keeping them out of the end zone. We shouldn't have let them score at all, but yeah, that's really it.
Talking about how hungry, yourself, a lot of defensive players were, and saying, that this isn't good enough. We have to be better. Were there moments like that collectively whenever you guys were communicating that to one another?
There was a lot of moments, because we made some good plays, but we left a lot on the field, man, and we're going to see more of it on tape. But we know what the standard is, and we know, like, even though we won how we did, that wasn't our standard, and it's always room for improvement. We could blow somebody out how we did, but we always know, like, there's room for improvement, and we got to polish everything so we can play a full, complete game. That wasn't a full, complete game out there defensively.
The players maybe talked after that first drive. Do you kind of take it upon yourself, and maybe Cam as well, to kind of lead that discussion amongst the players after the first drive?
With our defense, like, we all kind of do. First level, second level, third level. It's guys on each level that kind of know, and they lead us, and everybody kind of got say-so, like, when it comes to that. And then you got, like, Coach T-Will and things like that, that if a player don't speak up or don't, like, he's going to check us and make sure that, we're right. And yes, sir.
A lot of emphasis in camp about sacks and turnovers. How good did it feel to maybe get one of both in the second half, just to kind of build on, Arkansas State next week?
It was good. I got my hand in there on one of them. They ain't gonna say that on paper, but I played a little part in one of them. But it was good, man. Especially seeing, like, the guys who got sacks. It was just a happy moment for them, and just to know that we do have stuff to build off of, and we can even critique how we got to those sacks or how we can get to them quicker. It's just always room for improvement in whatever we do.
Hey, Cam, I'm sorry, one more just as a follow-up. Did you have a moment with CJ, right after he scored, where you went up to him like, hey, really proud of you, man. I know what you've been through.
I just went up to him and told him, good job, man, because it really wasn't much to be said, because I know what was going through his head, and I know who he did it for. So I wouldn't really say we had a moment, but just a minute ago when I seen him in the locker room, I just told him, man, I'm happy for you, bro. And like he said, the first thing was for Pops. So
Coach Pittman said next week would be easier motivation because Arkansas State. Any thoughts about playing an in-state team next week?
Like, they've been wanting to play us for like 93 years or so. But, man, we're just going to prepare for them like, any other opponent. Arkansas State, from what I've seen in previous years and previous game, man, they got a really good team. So we're not going to treat them like, any other team. We're just going to prepare for them how we prepare for each and every team. But they have a good team, man, and I'm excited to play, for the state of Arkansas and up here in Northwest Arkansas.
Talon, a lot's been made about your new wide receivers this season. 6 touchdown passes. Just what did you see from that group today?
First off, I want to give praise to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And like everybody's been talking about, just the versatility of the receiver room, and just showcasing the ball in their hands and the playmaking ability that they have. And like I said, I want to say the previous interview, I just got to do my job and giving them opportunity, and they're gonna do the rest. So.
Did anything surprise you? First time out there with Omega, Raylan. Anything jump out at you like maybe hadn't seen this in fall camp, or was it just all the preseason work? Kind of nothing really surprised you today.
I mean, honestly, it was just like you said, the preseason work, but just being antsy to be back out there in front of the fans. With my brothers, and just to be out there live, not having a black jersey on, and yeah, going to battle.
CJ, how good was today? Not only just what's gone on with your father and everything, but also your first kind of huge contribution here at Arkansas.
It's good. I think it's the best for my mom, my family. My mom loves to see me go out there and score touchdowns, and Taylor was able to get me the ball today. And he made great plays too to allow me to make plays.
How to make up for last year.
For you, I think you had more yards after the catch than maybe the second guy had receiving yards in total. I mean, what made it so difficult for defenders to bring you down today?
Just hearing it every day from Coach Petrino, yards out the catch, and just self-motivated, and just wanting to get the extra yards. So that's really all to it.
And obviously for you, you went back in, but can you just describe a little bit more about what happened just with the hamstring and then in the tent, kind of the problem there?
Just cramping. I haven't been live and with the bullets flying since the bowl game, and of course, it's a 3:15 kickoff, so I got to do a better job of hydrating and get my body right. So,
you and Coach Pittman kind of shared a hug after that second touchdown. What was said between you guys?
Coach Pittman was there through, every step of the way with my father. He almost had to force me to go see my father because I know if my dad wanted me to be at practice, like always. If any of y'all knew my dad, he wanted me to be at practice. So, Coach Pittman pulled me aside, when it was all going on and told me that I need to go and they're going to take me this afternoon, you know what I'm saying? So, that moment we shared, he just hugged me and I told him I'm doing it for my pops. And he was like, you are. So that was all that was.
How much have you and Jada kind of leaned on each other in this time?
Not only Jada, but my other two sisters. I mean, me being the only boy, they're going to look up to me just naturally. Being there, being strong for them and strong for my mother as well. I think we've leaned on each other a lot.
Big in the FCA on the board. How much comfort does that give you?
A lot. I mean, my dad touched a lot of people. He's a great man, and I'm going to keep his legacy alive for till the day I die.
Yeah, for Taylor and Omega, that last drive of the first half kind of seemed like maybe you guys were force-feeding Omega there. He had 3 receptions on that drive. Was that intentional, or was it just luck of the draw? He was open.
I would say you just got to feed the playmakers, and, he does a great job of getting open, and I see mismatches, and I got to do my job to give him opportunity. He's going to do the rest, so.
Touchdown pass where you're going right, you're going to the ground, and then that dart defender hanging all over him. I mean, you had 6 touchdown passes today. Was that your favorite, or do you have a favorite?
I don't really got a favorite, really. All touchdowns I'm grateful for. That's really our mindset is to score every single time we touch the ball and have a series. So I would say that was a pretty cool experience, and to celebrate in the back of the end zone. What celebration you do? Because you high five somebody at home.
Getting the crowd involved. You got to score. You got to get the crowd involved. So that's what I'll be doing.
KJ had his own touchdown pass. I mean, just what'd you think of his performance today?
I thought he did well. Came in there and he got hit, but still delivered the ball. A lot of people don't see how much he prepares every single day. He will have a 10 a.m. meeting or 11 a.m. meeting. Say we have 11 a.m. meeting. He's gonna wake up at 5 a.m. and prepare. And Coach Petrino jokes all the time. He walks into the meeting room and he's like, KJ, what time did you wake up? And he's like 5:30, and everybody else wakes up at 9:30 and stuff like that. So he's always being prepared, and even in the hotel room, he was going over the script and going over the opening the plays. So just his prep, and you're seeing how he matured through this whole thing. So I'm proud of him for how he stepped in there and got his first touchdown.
As being a veteran, I mean, going back to your first few years, I mean, how important is it for a younger guy like that to get those reps?
Oh, definitely. It all starts with, getting your feet wet and just building that confidence. Really just, you see, especially as a freshman, you run out the tunnel, you see all these people, bullets flying fast. But at the same time, once you get reps and once you get comfortable and get your feet wet, you realize it's 22 people out there and 120 yards, and it's just like when you picked up the ball your first time and fell in love with it. So
seems like you got hit a little bit hard after a few scrambles. What's kind of your mentality when it comes to the open field?
Honestly, do whatever I have to do to get that first down. And it took a little bit for me to get used to hitting, because I haven't got hit, like I said, since the bowl game. But after those hits, I'm wake up and continue to play ball, keep the chains moving. So,
Taylor, whole new receiving crew this year, all new, basically. What do you think about you guys' performance today and opening up and making a statement the way you guys did, saying that everything's going to be fine?
I mean, honestly, I wasn't surprised. If you see how much work they put in, but at the same time, how fast they practice, especially Omega and CJ. Omega would take a drag route, and we'll be on the 20-yard line and take it 80 yards. And just the way that they work every single day, they could be tired, but you wouldn't know it. And, I'm not surprised, but I'm just glad and grateful to have a receiver room like this.
On that one drive you guys had right before halftime, I think you went to him 5 times on that drive. You got 4. The other one was a pass interference. When he's coming back, or after a play, is he looking at you going, "I'm open, bro. I'm open"?
Oh, always. He always gonna say, even when he's always gonna be keep feeding me, or he's gonna give me a certain look, and I know that Omega's the one I can depend on if I don't get scrambling or something like that. So just to have that weapon in the offense is definitely he could tell you how much he.
What do you got to say about that?
It just goes back to us, training and getting the extra reps out to practice, and just meeting and watching film, and like I said, just having this back and knowing he got mine. So like I said, it's just he gonna make certain things, and I just feel like I gotta make it correct. So we don't hear Coach Petrino's mouth at the end of the day. So that's really all it is.
That was a great job.